What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here Saturday morning and try and get some stuff done on the shop car. A few more parts rolling in. I'm not sure what you guys saw last. So we got our parachute. So it's just a Scallop air assisted launcher. We use CO2 on the car, so I figured why struggle to pack a chute when we could just use this. So it makes it a lot easier. If you've ever loaded a spring chute, it is not the funnest thing to do. So that'll help a lot because we don't have to pack the spring in there. You basically just load it in there, pressurize it, and then when you pull the pin, it goes. So a lot easier. And then finally got a set of 2685s, which these are a tiny tire. I mean, that's my hand. So these will, this is probably what we'll run. These are actually somewhat in stock, so that's semi-exciting because the Mickey Thompsons are next to impossible to find. We got all the strange, well, we only got strange front brakes, so, and the axles. We got axles. So we got the brakes mounted up. I don't know if Mark put the, I guess they are the brake pads in there, so Mark's got that all bolted up. So that's cool. We got a roller now. We could pretty much make it a roller right now. We're just waiting on wheels. Waiting on wheels from MacFab. He had a set of 15 by 10s with 3-inch backspace in stock. So pretty cool that, they'll have a kind of a custom, they're a V series like the fronts, but they'll have a custom beadlock ring on both sides, so pretty neat. And then we got a shifter. Found this one used actually, which was awesome. So this one, obviously just a power glide M&M transition shifter. Got our axles over here. It's kind of madness in here right now because I've been digging through stuff today, but got our axles in. These are 40 splines, so pretty beefy. I don't think we'll break that with the power this thing is gonna put out. I mean, it'd be cool if we did, but I was working on getting the damper on there and ran out of red Loctite. I'm gonna Loctite the ARP bolt in there. So yeah, ran out of Loctite. So I have blue, but I don't have red, and I want to use red. So I think that's about it. Got some coilover brackets from Marty. These are pretty nifty, pretty cool powder coating on them. The battery shut off. Let's see, a timing pointer. These are block off plates for the heads. I'm not going to use this one because the motor plate sits, right up against it, so I don't have to worry about it. Just fill it with silicone or something. But this one, you can put that on there and it stops it from popping out. Let's see. This is what we're going to use for the deck lid. So this is a quarter max, just a carbon fiber mount. So that way we can fill it up without having to take the deck lid off. Holly bracket, cable saver, very important. And then we got the brake pedal in, obviously quarter max also. So I'll probably work on this today. My short list today is finish the anti-roll bar, the gas pedal, and then what else do I have? Finish fuel cell. I think I can finish that up. I just need a cap, and I think I have one. But right now I'm working on getting the anti-roll bar cups mounted, so we just weld them to the chassis, and then we put little, I guess, little brackets in there to hold in. This will all be welded, so I'm going to get that knocked out and get that all bolted in. Did get some of the scallop strips. This side's done. I don't know if I showed you guys the plate. So this is a new NHRA 25-1 rule, and Mike that comes and does our cages says it's going to roll downhill, so this will probably be a needed safety thing later on. I believe it is to stop objects from coming up and piercing the bottom of the seat. I believe that's what it's for. The rules are pretty vague. It is not, it's just not clear on what it needs. So we just went ahead and put it in there. It's 090 4130 plate. It's like 6 pounds of steel, but you know, if it's going to be a rule soon, then may as well put it in and be done with it. So most of the scallop strips done on this side. They're just tacked in there. I'm probably going to hopefully weld them today. We'll see how much I get done. I want to get this interval bar. I already made the templates. They should be still over there. So I'm going to get to it. Hopefully get a lot done. I know Mark's not coming in this weekend because he is down at his shop at, I think it's down in southern Missouri. He's getting his sandblaster. So I think what the plan is, we're going to rent a big air compressor because we don't have an air compressor. We use electric tools. So get a big air compressor, like a tow behind, and bring the sandblaster up here, and then sandblast the doors, quarters, roof, some of the firewall. So that'll be interesting. But we need to get it done. So when we're done with the chassis, we can just paint everything and be done. And then it can pretty much go to wiring. I'm not really waiting on anything. I still need to order the PMU from ECU Master, and then Holly Dominator, and the torque converter, which we're going to use, and then a bunch of stuff from Low Dollar Motorsports. So that's pretty much all I have left to buy. It's a lot because it's a lot of expensive stuff, but that's pretty much it. We have almost everything ready to make it run. So we're getting down to it. We're getting down to the little stuff that takes a while, but you know, it's not huge chassis fab anymore. It's down to the small, tedious stuff. So hopefully we can knock out a bunch of little stuff, and then we will be hopefully making it to Rocky Mountain Race Week. All right, so tonight I'm gonna be working on getting the scallop strips in the car so we can get this thing to paint, so we can get all the tabs and whatnot ready, so we can go get the car sandblasted and painted. So kind of show you guys the process for dealing with these scallop strips. They can be kind of tricky to get a hold of, so I have some examples over here. So I've gone ahead and so I have this little diagram I had that's actually off my car. Don't mind my double frame rail. But I was just kind of counting off pictures what we had. So I know I am using 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. So each one of those is a hole. So like this one, it's going to be over here. Obviously it's going to be on the bottom. We will have some on the top, but the top is going to be Zeused in. So this is, if I was laying on the floor, it's way easier to do it up here, but this will be under the car. So there's 4. There's 4. Actually we'll probably do 5 there, but 4 there, and then 4 up here. So basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per side of these scallop strips, and then on the middle ones that are on the frame rail, we have our shrinker stretcher set up over there. So I've already cut this one because there's a small 1.25" bar that runs through here. So this will allow it to sit flat on there. So it's kind of what it's going to look like. There'll be weld right there. So that follows our inner frame rail structure. I actually brought out an inner frame rail. So that follows that right there on the inside of the car. Right here. So nothing too complicated about it, just laying it out's kind of tough. So usually I have a small piece that I use. I actually just used it, but I have a small piece that I'll use to kind of lay out how I want them to sit. I mean, there'll be changes along the way, but this at least gets you somewhat close. So I'm gonna get all these stomped down and then bring a welder over here and start tacking them in. right, so a little tip when you're finishing your scallop strips, if you don't want to make a cut, just like a bare cut on the end, or you know, you have like half a scallop strip here, if you take the end that's finished, and ours all come like this, if you take it and lay it over like this and just mark it like I just did like that, and you get a finished scallop strip. Even if it's one scallop strip, you get each time. You don't have to have weird ends and make it look all fancy and whatnot. That's my tip of the day for fitting scallop strips. All right, so continuation of last night. Last night I got the scallop strips on the bottom, half tack welded. This one's probably falling down now. So we had to add these 090 plates. This is a new requirement for NHRA. It's only for 25-1 right now, but it's coming down the line, so I thought we'd get ahead of it and go ahead and put them in. I guess it protects the driver from anything coming up from the bottom, whether the car's on its side and gets kind of T-boned from the back or underneath. Kind of sucks because it's a lot of weight. It's probably 5 or 6 pounds sitting there, so 090 is not light, but it is what it is. Gotta adhere to the rules. So I'm working on getting these Zeus things on there. Mark's on that side, so I didn't finish up the scallop strips. He's working on the back scallop strips right now. He's making a double scallopy strip. Those are always fun to make.
Oh, they're a blast. Especially trying to get them at the right angle. So you just kind of guess and just lightly tack them, and then you can bend them a little bit.
Ah, the tips. Tuesday night tips.
Tech Tip Tuesdays.
Yep. So we did get some parts today. Got axles. No rear brakes? Question mark. I guess they didn't have the backing plates, but we also got front brakes, but they didn't come with backing plates. So I guess there's just a national back order of backing plates apparently. But we were able to put on the hub to get where we want the front end. We were gonna have this in the, so Racecraft makes these spacers in the back that are, you can move it either 1 inch back stock or 1 inch forward. I was hoping to run the 1 inch forward, but the way the front end is, you don't get much to trim off here. There's no way we could have ran, there's not an extra inch there, so we're gonna put these back in the stock location. So at least able to put some front wheels on it and start getting an idea of if we need to make any changes or anything. But it's kind of cool seeing those on there. I think that's it for parts today. Just a big order from Strange, which half of it wasn't there and whatever. So but yeah, Mark's working on this side. He's got the upper tub rail. This is how the tub's been mounted in on this side. So then you just have a panel right there. Most likely weld it to the body in here. We have a little spot where we have to weld, but that way it stays in place.
Yep. Pretty simple, just time consuming.
Yeah, a little easier when you don't have frame rails in the way.
A lot easier when you don't have frame rails in the way.
So this is the part that gets a little tedious because you're trying to think of every possible outcome of where things are going to run. We were just kind of laying out fuel lines and trans lines, and it gets to be a lot trying to run that through a chassis like this. So we'll see. Not like we're throwing it together, but we're doing it quickly. So there may be a few zip ties involved. But, oh, I did get a gas pedal. That was part of parts today. So now we can sit in it and make race car noises. And press pedals.
You did get the engine put together though, so.
I did, yeah. We're making progress. we're hoping to be running started at least by 1st of August, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, before you just said August, you never said anything about the 1st.
Yeah. I mean, it's not till Rocky Mountain isn't until late September. So yeah, we need to be like ready leaving mid-September. So, yeah. Yep. Yep. I think once we get the chassis done, it'll go quick.
Once we get the chassis done, everything else is done.
Yeah, it's true. There's not much left. Yeah.
That's literally all the mounting.
Yeah. It's like paint and then just throw parts in it because all the parts are pretty much done. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, like the cold side. That's like it.
Shoot, huh?
Yeah. Wing should be here, like this week, I think. I just got the Bear not painted.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Body color stuff is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Alright.
Haven't really decided body color yet.
No, I still have no... Whatever's in stock, I guess.
Whatever they have the most cans of?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not real... I wouldn't mind white.
I think it's...
I know. Better than black, though.
Yeah, but black hides dirt. Kind of.
Depends on the quality of the paint. If it's nicely painted, it shows everything.
Yeah, but it's gonna be
I like...
painted.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a plan for that. I'd like to get it sandblasted like next weekend. Except that's 4th of July.
Oh.
Or next week. But then we gotta rent it. So we don't really have a gigantic air compressor here for sandblasting things. So I'm gonna rent a big generator air compressor.
It's a toe behind air compressor.
Yeah, puts out a lot of air.
Like 2,800 CFM.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I think we're just gonna, once we get the brakes, just gonna roll it outside and then spend a few hours sandblasting. Take out the carbon and everything and just all of it. Which isn't a lot. There's not a lot to sandblast.
Right. A little bit on the firewall and
Yeah.
quarters and roof.
Yeah.
I guess doors if you really want to.
Yeah. But that way we don't have to hand sand it or have leftover blue paint over other paint. Alright. I got the cups for the roll bar welded on. Made a little filler piece right there. That way it's kind of, you know, a solid part of the chassis, so there's no flex to it. So I got that one done, got that one done, and then I also got the actual anti-roll bar welded. I was trying to get it done, kind of forgot to film it, but nothing too crazy. I just measured between the where I wanted these arms, and there's a little spacer that goes there. So got that welded up. So I'm gonna let that cool down because that thing's about 400 degrees, and it will be for the next hour or so. So it's pretty hefty. It's like 1/4 inch wall. So I'm gonna work on mounting the gas pedal. I already got steering wheel mounted. So kind of have to decide how I want to do that, but I think I have a pretty good idea. I was kind of sitting in here mocking up stuff. So I'm gonna weld a little more of the steering column just so it's not so floppy. And I think I'm gonna use something off of the dash bar down to the steering column to mount this rod so we can bolt it up and stuff. So I will keep you guys updated. So I thought I'd show you guys kind of the design process of the fuel cell. So there's this calculator. You could calculate. I'm sure there's other calculators out there, but this one's calculatorsoup.com, and they have tank volume and fill calculator. So this is what it is. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I kind of have the height, the width, the length, and then you can also put what you are going to fill it to. So if this is 15 inches, say I'm going to do 14. So down here it gives me, I'm going to have about, total capacity is going to be about 4 gallons. Fill volume is going to be, if I filled it to 14 inches instead of the 15 up there, I would have 3.82. So kind of a cool little widget, I guess. So I think that's what we're going to start with. It'll be a 15 inches tall, 9 inches wide, and it'll be 7 inches deep. So kind of start with that. I'm gonna make it in cardboard because I really don't want to stomp out more aluminum and, you know, not fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and stomp this out just in cardboard, get it taped up with some, you know, some CAD, some cardboard aided drawings. So that way we can mock this up, and then won't have to do this over again because it's a pretty tight spot up there. The headlights are like super close to it, so that's kind of what we're after. So I'm gonna stomp this out. You guys will see what it looks like stomped out. And the only thing that calculator doesn't calculate for is if you have any sump in the bottom. So this, I don't think I'm gonna do a sump. I might, I don't know, I haven't decided. If you had a sump, it can't really calculate it in there. You could, you know, calculate the area of the sump with some math, but I don't really care to do that because I know it'll be about 4 gallons. So we will get started, and yeah, hopefully I have a fuel cell today. That'd be nice. So I really wish it was this easy to build fuel cells. I wish you could just stop it out, you know, but get some tape set up here and we'll build ourselves a fuel cell. I didn't make a top for it. See how that goes. I need something to hold it together. This will just give me kind of a rough idea of where I want things to lay out, just because with the space constraints are pretty tight up there, so I want to make sure we're not going to hit anything or struggle mounting it. So this won't be exact, but be close. So even on like customer cars, like I said before in the last video, even customer cars that we design in CAD, we usually do it like this just to get some rough ideas of shapes and what we can fit where, because sometimes you gotta have some crazy shapes to fit in places. So this way we don't have to waste laser cut time or money, and we don't have to waste CAD time. So if there's no space constraints, it's easier. There's no space constraints, it's a lot easier, obviously, self-explanatory, but with this, it's super tight. So I'm gonna get a top made because it wants to flex and whatnot. So I'm gonna get a top made and then take you guys over to the car. All right, so here's the fuel cell. This should be right at 4 gallons if we filled it completely full. We'll see if this thing fits down in here. It's pretty big. So I think it'll work okay. Not a huge fan of how low it is, just because the pump's gonna be sucking fuel instead of pushing it. Might be, yeah, it's just tight. I'm gonna get a jack and get the tire. Make sure we're not gonna hit anything with the tire. So, man, it's just tight. It is tight up here. It's hitting the headlight bulge in the back, I guess you'd say. So I might do something there. I really need it to step out a little bit. That way we can have a little bit more fuel up top. So we got about, I don't know, 3/4 of the tank. It's not going to be above the pump. It's not great. And there's just not a lot of places to put this. I think we tried setting it up front here. There wouldn't be too bad. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of tanks sitting so close to the hot side. And we got a big fan on there, so we'd have to snake it around and all kinds of stuff. So it's probably not going to work. I think, yeah, obviously that's not gonna work either. The bar's kind of screwing us here. We should have moved it back a little bit, but this is the stuff you run into hindsight. Yeah, this is not fun. Not a fan of it there. Man, this is it's tough. I think if it was just a 1/2 inch narrower, it would fit better because we're hitting the headlight bracket. I'm just worried about running out of fuel if we have to drive to the lanes and stuff. Worst comes to worst, I guess we can use ball valves for the 93 and drive to the lanes, switch to tune, which I don't really want to do, but I don't really have anything to push it to the lanes, especially on like drag week and Rocky Mountain Race Week. You don't have a vehicle to push it, and I don't have the money to pay for a vehicle to push me to the lane, so I have to drive it. I think I'm gonna kind of maybe shorten it up a little bit and then have this come out over top of this bar. That might be a possibility. Right there does work all right. If it was just a 1/2 inch narrower, I think we'd be okay. I'm gonna have to build a structure around this thing to protect it, which also is not fun. I was hoping to not have to do that, but yeah, we're running out of room quick. That is for sure. Yeah, this is the problem with the fuel pump being up on the cam like that. Fuel cell's gotta be high. Might be able to get it up a little higher. If we take out this rail up here, this rail doesn't really serve a purpose. It's literally just support. So if I can, cut this out, I can raise it up a little higher. The headlight, pretty good on the headlight. It's really just hitting this upper piece. So I think I might just stomp this out and go with it. See what we can fit. other than that, I think we should be fine. So I think I'm gonna stop it out, just make it work. Not a huge fan of where the fuel outlets are gonna come out, but yeah, kind of is what it is. The hot side's kind of going everywhere. So I'm gonna get it stomped out and then probably tack it together and refit. Try and make it fit again. The cardboard's good, but I mean, this is not a perfect rectangle, so we'll get it mounted. All right, so I got you guys saw me tack together that fuel cell, so got it mounted. I went inside and made some awesome barbecue for dinner, so I did this real quick. So it's just got 2 bungs that are cut into the this tube, this front strut bar, and then just got some brackets, so that'll hold that side. And then right now, because this is outside the frame, you have to have an 1.25 058 kind of frame around it. It really doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm just gonna tuck it real close here so we don't have any issues with the tire getting close to it. So I'm gonna work on that, and then I'll probably be done for the night. Maybe figure out a mount for that so I don't have to use a stand. Stands are a little sketchy to try and mount things. So, but yeah, I'm gonna work on that and hopefully get this done and mounted. I still have to order a cap for it, and then we're probably gonna start ordering some fuel line. I want to get that stuff ordered because I know there's a backlog on that. So I'm gonna get some fittings, some miscellaneous fittings I think we're gonna need. Kind of go from there. All right, so I'm pretty much wrapped up for tonight. I tried to show you guys what I was working on, but it's like 10 o'clock. I got to go inside and get to bed so I can get up early and come out here and work on customer cars. So I got the fuel cell somewhat mounted. I got everything kind of tacked, somewhat welded. I'm going to have to pull the cell out to weld the rest, but so that's kind of the final location. I got to trim a tiny bit. So when I was holding this in here, it wasn't quite, I don't know, it was loose. So now that it's hard mounted, I got to trim out just a tiny bit, like this back corner. So it shouldn't affect anything. If it does, I'll just glass in a little piece. I can always take out a little piece of that too, of the fuel cell, but I'm gonna try not to. I got this up as high as I can because we have a fuel pump, that one that's cam driven, so it sits here. So about half the fuel is going to be above the pump, half's going to be below. So that's kind of it for tonight. Got a decent amount done this weekend, but not as much as I wanted, of course. You know, all this little stuff takes forever. So I'm glad I got that fuel cell on. Now I can measure for fuel lines to get those ordered and start getting plumbing ready and stuff like that. So kind of pretty happy how that turned out for limited space up front. If I were going to do it again, I'd probably do those strut bars a little differently, maybe. I don't know. It wouldn't be that big a deal if we would have put the radiator in the back. But that's how it goes with this streetcar stuff. So I'll see you guys this week. Have a weekly walk around, and then of course we'll probably work on the shop car during the week and probably have some more parts come in. So thank you for tuning in. And if we don't make it to Rocky Mountain Race Week, it's not because there wasn't effort. It's just because we ran plumb out of time. So.